What's up, everybody? Welcome to Fantasy Sports Now. Today, I'm bringing you running back free agents that have moved or have re-signed. A lot of off-season traction that you need to be aware of before we even think about making rankings, before we even think about drafts, before we do any of that. We need to get into the free agents, where they're moving, what that means to their draft capital. This has been recorded so early that James Conner hasn't signed yet. There's a few other guys that haven't, so if you have seen this afterwards, just keep that in mind, okay? So we're going to jump right in. If you like what you see, hit me with a sub, and you know what? I'm going to keep making content for you guys as long as you want, but I'm a guy that likes to get into the content, no crazy intros. You can see how fast I'm talking, so let's just get right into the football stuff. Let's do it. Okay, so first, number one, I want to talk about some guys who re-signed. I got 5 names on this list. I'm going to make 2 different lists because I like to keep the videos nice and short for you guys. I don't want to waste all of your day, okay? So I got 5 names on this one, 6 ones coming on the ones tomorrow, the next day, whenever it might be, okay? And I want to talk about Aaron Jones re-signing with Green Bay. I think this is the best possible solution for him in free agency. They go out and Green Bay gets him. Green Bay sometimes is weird with their free agents. Sometimes they let them go. The whole company, really, of Green Bay is a little bit weird with the way they operate, but it's nice to see Aaron Jones from a fantasy perspective going back to Green Bay as a obvious Detroiter here. Not good for us, but obviously Detroit's going to be a little behind anyway, so it doesn't really much matter for us. But anyway, for Aaron Jones, it's fantasy value. He had a huge season last year. He's still super young. It was a top 5 season, and honestly, landing here is going to put him right in the top 8 or top 5 of many or maybe all fantasy drafts this season. So I want to bring up Aaron Jones just because if he would have signed somewhere else, it would have been a much worse situation. So he's got the thumbs up over here. He's getting my kind of approval of going back to Green Bay, which of course is always the best call. Next, we're going to Chris Carson, who also re-signed with Seattle, but on this one I have kind of the neutral line, and the reason I have the neutral line is because Chris Carson in himself is really good. He gets hurt a lot, which is not good. We obviously don't like that, but he's really good, and he's always got that like top 8 potential, honestly, but he never plays all the games, which is always such a detriment. But the reason I really have him kind of neutral is because we don't know what's going to happen with Russell Wilson. I really feel like that team is so based on Russell Wilson. Their offensive line has not been that great, but he still makes that offense relevant. Those big receivers open up slots for Chris Carson to be able to run the ball. So with him gone, if they don't bring somebody else similar, I think that they're going to be running for their lives, and I think that they're not going to be as efficient. So if Russell Wilson ends up leaving here, I'm putting it down towards Chris Carson, and I'm kind of going to avoid until much later. Despite how good he can be and all that potential, I'm still going to kind of avoid. So kind of wait and see what happens with Russell Wilson until we go forward with them. But for now, Chris Carson's got the kind of the neutral for his movement here. Next is another re-sign in Leonard Fournette. I think that the only way that Fournette is fantasy relevant nowadays is if he's on a team like Tampa Bay, where they're constantly kind of in that offensive zone, and the ball can go to anyone at any point and any time. I would steer clear of a guy like Fournette if you're in any kind of yardage league. If you're in a PPR league, then maybe as a flyer later in the draft. If you're in a touchdown league, however, then I think that it might be worth taking a look at Fournette just because Tampa Bay's got such obviously a good offense. Everybody's coming back, basically, it seems like. And as long as Brady's there, the offense is going to churn. So Fournette found a good home, and I think that he's played well, and I think that he might get the ball more, honestly. And he didn't play that many games. So it's one of these things to keep an eye on. I think this is the obviously best landing spot. If he tried to go out on his own and be a starter somewhere else, I think it would have been a disaster. So for me, this is a thumbs up play, and I think it's smart for his career, and I think he knows that. Next is Kenyon Drake, which this one is going to be the mystery of the offseason. And, everybody's going to bash this. And for a fantasy perspective, I probably will. Well, I am going to as well. So he moves from Arizona, kind of being the lead back, having a really good season, honestly. 10 scores, getting a lot of yards in there. He was essentially a top 15 player. He's getting drafted in the top 10 last year, and he probably would have again as the lead back. But now he goes to Las Vegas, and he's going to be sitting behind, or he's going to be playing tandem, and I don't like that. I don't know why he did that, but there's two schools of thought here that you have to remember. Kenyon Drake is out to make the most money he can, but at the same time, he's got to look after his career and his health. So again, from being from Detroit, we've seen Calvin Johnson do this. We see Barry Sanders do this. So maybe his frame of mind was, I'm going to tandem, I'm going to do the Tevin Coleman and Freeman thing, and I'm going to kind of, be a guy within the system and prolong my career. Maybe that's his play. But from a fantasy perspective, it's really bad for all of us. And I think it's going to drop him down. I don't know if it's going to be one of these tandem dueling, Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb situations. I just don't see that. I don't see Kenyon Drake scoring as many touchdowns now. He might get a lot of run in the backfield. Obviously, if there's an injury, it's going to happen. But for me, as of right now, he's got the thumbs down because it's just, who knows what's going to happen with that backfield. You have two talented backs, but that's not really an ideal situation. You want the top dogs if you're taking a top 10 pick, So that was an interesting move. I think that's what he was thinking, though, with his career now. Mike Davis is an interesting one because after McCaffrey went down, he had a big year. He's kind of one of those guys that people probably just picked up or had as a handcuff, and he kind of went off a little bit. And I think that this production from the guy that you picked up or was a handcuff probably didn't make up for Christian McCaffrey, but it didn't hurt, obviously. So he's going from Carolina to Atlanta, which I have right now as a neutral kind of thing. So the one thing, initially I had him as down. But then I remember, Christian McCaffrey is going to come back. So when he does come back, if he would have re-signed with Carolina, he would have been benched, right? He would not have played that often. It would have been similar to how it was before. Regardless of how good a career he is, they're gonna have Christian McCaffrey out there every down, as many downs as possible, right? So he goes to Atlanta where Todd Gurley's there. He's making good money already. Todd Gurley is. So they're gonna play Todd Gurley, and they're obviously gonna play him a lot. I look at Davis as kind of a similar kind of back, but who probably gets the ball through the air a lot more. I don't really see them playing the two running back kind of game. I see Gurley taking it the most of the time, but Gurley's got these knees that are shot and have been for a while, and who knows if he's going to go down and then Davis can step up. So for me, he's rather going to play bench role in Carolina, or he's going to play bench role in Atlanta. But in Atlanta, at least he's got more opportunity, I feel like, behind Gurley than he would out in Carolina behind McCaffrey. So he could have signed anywhere. He could have gone somewhere and tried to be a lead guy, but it didn't play out that way. So for me, there's obviously better landing spots, where he could have potentially been a starter. But in Atlanta, he's not going to be a starter. In Carolina, he's not going to be a starter. So that's the 5 right now, guys. I got another list coming out. It's going to be probably tomorrow. So catch the next list. There's a lot of free agents you need to know about, all the movement, all the traction. Give me a follow, give me a sub so you don't miss out, guys. See you next time.